Hi, everybody. It's Ginger Bowler and Sally Dyer with Energy
Hi.
Events and Products. Here, we're in Colorado. It's snowing.
Yes, it is.
And we have Dr. Stephen Wechsler here, he's going to introduce himself more fully, but he uses both the light therapy, the Enlight system, as well as the BEMER. And Sally does too. Sally has
I
both
use
of
both
those.
products myself, yes.
And I have too. I've owned a BEMER, owned both of them. Right now, I sold my demo on the BEMER, but we get a lot of questions, Steve. I'll say Dr. Steve. We get a lot of questions, like when do you professionally use one over the other with your patients, and compare them for us. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so I've been in practice as a chiropractor for the last 31 years. I didn't even need electricity to work for most of them because I never used things. But I had a car accident in 2012 that really left me unable to work, unable to play, unable to really walk up the stairs. I got T-boned by a car right down the block from my office, and couldn't work that day, couldn't walk up the stairs to get to my bedroom. But thankfully, a month before that happened, someone lent me a light therapy machine to use in my office, an Enlight machine. And I started using it immediately, and it really kept me working 10 hours a week. You know, I had to cut way back. It still hurt while I worked. I mean, sharp pains into my head because I tore a ligament in my wrist and I tore my knee to the bone.
Did I say you were a chiropractor? Did we say that part?
Yes.
So
I said that part.
Okay, good.
31 years. And yeah, so it was painful working, but I could then go off into another room, put the light therapy on, calm everything down, and stack up the office again and go back to work again, though painful. So there's no magic to this. Your body still has to heal, but I could calm my body down and get ready to work again. And then I was introduced to some laser work. Then I had 2 surgeries. But here's the miracle. They said I would need 6 to 8 weeks to recover from my knee surgery. And I used the lights literally within an hour after my surgery. And
Wow.
I literally walked into the doctor's office 5 days after without taking any medication again. And I eat well. I take care of myself. I fully developed spiritually, emotionally, as much as I could. But man, you get hit by a car, it hurts.
Yeah.
You know, you have surgery. So when I had surgery, it was the first medication I had since I was 11 years old, when they put the anesthesia into my knee. But when I got, you know, the doctor goes, you got to take these meds. I want you walking on your knee. And I got up the next morning and I was like, anesthesia must be still working. That afternoon, that next day, just kept putting the light therapy on. And I literally had no pain. I went to a friend's house 3 days later, walked down to his house, danced a little bit on the dance floor, and I went into the doctor and I said, hey, can I go back to work? I feel really good. He goes, well, you know, with all that pain medication. I said, I haven't taken any of the pain medication.
Wow.
And he says, what do you do? I said, well, I'm a chiropractor. He goes, oh, you sit behind a desk? And I'm like, no, I walk probably a few miles during the day back and forth between my tables. And I said, he goes, okay, if you feel you can go back to work, I'm not going to stop you. I said, but can I ride my bike? And he laughed. And then I bent my knee 120 degrees. And he said, I've never seen that before in my life. And I've repeated that with easily 4 or 5 dozen patients who've had knee replacements, hip replacements, ankle surgery with screws and plates. And again, it's not magic. It creates more blood flow, microcirculation in the body. It helps, you know, decrease that pain. And a lot of them needed less medication, but like not less, surprisingly less medication. Just recently, I had a guy with a double fracture break in his femur, like bad.
That's
And
painful.
we got the light therapy within an hour after the surgery. And he needed to change rooms. And he says to the nurse, he goes, oh, give me your crutches. She goes, what do you mean? He goes, I'll walk. She's like, you can't walk. It's too painful. And he walked.
Wow.
So I take care of a lot of bikers and golfers and tennis players. And they have injuries. And they just get better in a way that I've never seen before. always surprises their physical therapist, their surgeon, that they're able to do more physical therapy. They're able to do surgery without having such pain or the complications of opioids afterwards. Right. So that got me through my surgeries. And then, I was still uncomfortable some. I still had a lot of body aches because I laid around for 2 years. And then a friend of mine who I actually sold a light therapy unit to said, hey, my daughter sells these BEMERs. Can I demo it in your office? And I'm like, oh, do I need another device in my office? And he came in, and out of 20 patients, 5 were like, you got to get this. And I'm like, I wasn't feeling, when I did the BEMER the first time, it wasn't like, wow, I really need to get one of these. But I got one. And, they're, not inexpensive, but the value after 3 months of using it was incredible. I had so much energy. And I thought, oh, maybe it's just me. And then people started purchasing them. I thought I'd sell 1 or 2. But, a year and a half later, I've sold 30 BEMERs. Wow. And so here's the problem. I'm putting myself out of business. Of the people that buy the BEMERs after a few months, I don't see them very much. They don't have the average aches and pains and what drive you but you know what? I feel like $1 million because people just walk in, some just after a few visits on the BEMER, ready to make a purchase. Some people after, a few months of using it, because I have one in my office. The light therapy was very similar when I started. Again, I didn't really get into it. I never sold anything in my office like that, maybe some herbs and some supplements. And I was shocked that in the first 2 years, probably the first 3 years, about 45 people bought them. So not only was it good for them, it was good for me, but I really had to start to get to work to bring in new people again and educate new people again, because I had a practice of the same people, the same families. And, but for my own health, so in about a year after, about a year into 9 months to a year into using lights, I really was better. At least I thought I was fully better, because after almost a year using the BEMER, I woke up one morning and I remember like touching my arm and my body, like, this feels different. So something changed over. They say new cells replace old cells, but it takes about 9 months to a year. And I really have been not pain-free, but fairly pain-free compared to where I was. If I ski really hard, I was at Wechsler in May, and I kept up with my son. I skied 8 days in a row. I've never skied more than 2 days in a row because I'm so sore. But we'd ski in the morning, take a nap in the afternoon, and get on our mountain bikes. Put the lights on, lay on the BEMER. And I use BEMER lights at the same time because there are different, lights are photobiotic. They work within the layers of the skin and release that nitric oxide. And then the BEMER is pulse electromagnetic, which drives the BEMER signal, which I tell people just exercises your microcirculation. So they both have this huge benefit. And I have only 2 patients who couldn't use the light therapy. And I've only had 2 or 3 patients who couldn't use the BEMER because of certain things. Right. So I wouldn't say they're interchangeable, but they're as useful as each other.
Which one do you use first? If you're going to do BEMER and lights, which do you start with?
When people come in injured, like they per se throw their back out or slip a disc, those terms that people use, or bike injury, skiing injury, especially knees. I actually use laser light first, then I use the light therapy at the same time. Oh, okay. But what people are really lacking in life is energy. Right. Energy to get better. Right. So some people, what I like about the lights is I have enough units that I send people home with them. So people use them 3, 4, 5 days in a row, like they rent them. I just can't I don't have enough BEMERs to do that. I have all my BEMERs when I rent, you have to fight people to bring them back. So a lot of times, people just love them and they end up purchasing them after using them, especially for a month, because you really, the light therapy is flashy. Like I have the light therapy on here. I mean, there's light, there's heat, you feel great.
You feel
The BEMER is like, people go, oh, I don't really feel anything.
Right.
But I like that because then they get up and the one word that people use is, I feel a sense of wellness,
Right.
Okay.
which I've never really heard before. The light therapy, again, feels really good as you're using it. People feel like more flexibility, more mobility after, sometimes some decrease of pain. I mean, they can't really detect circulation per se, but
Right.
after the BEMER, the people just get this sense like, oh, can I come back again and use that? They don't have like the words exactly,
Right.
but then people start to use it even once or twice a week, 3 times a week, and they have more energy.
Right.
Well, can I use this more often? Well, I'm not open that often, so you got to rent a machine.
You got to rent it or you got to buy it. I know a lot of our practitioners and students and friends and whatever, they always ask us this question, like, oh, if they got the BEMER first, should they get the lights? If they got the light first, should they get the BEMER? And we both think, as you do, is both of them have such a great application and different people resonate with different ones, which I love how you're explaining why that is too.
Right, and truly when someone has an immediate injury, sometimes I go to the light therapy first. When someone has a more chronic condition, it's a little more subtle, I'll go to the BEMER first. And I get a number of people who come in just for lights and BEMER and laser. Some people are like a little like, ooh, chiropractic. They've heard things about it. Where we sometimes have not a great brand name, but then they watch people get adjusted and see what they're doing, and it increased my practice that way. We have massage therapists that have BEMERs and or lights. They just lay people on the lights, work on one side,
Right.
it's like toast, and then you put them on the other side. And
Right.
same with the BEMER. What's versatile, like the lights have to go right on the skin. That's
Right.
how it works. What's versatile about the BEMER, I have people that come in like electric wheelchairs, I lay the BEMER over them.
Do you have
You don't have to remove clothes.
Because we don't have the BEMER here with us right now. Do you have the BEMER where you can show it on the camera?
Right here. I don't know how much you can see it. So I'm going to step back a little bit.
Okay.
So the BEMER is a mat. You see that?
Yeah.
All right. Let me turn a light down. So a BEMER is a mat. This has coils in it, mostly in the legs, some in the hips, some in the mid body, but none in the head up here. And it comes with a strap, which called the B pad. So this is the B body, this is the B pad, and then it comes with applications that you could work directly on joints. And it comes with a different kind of light therapy. And this light therapy does not have the BEMER signal goes through it, but it is a light therapy, which is really good for surface, skin, things like that. And again, the goal of it, and here's the computer that is the kind of the brains of the BEMER. There's 2 computers in there that actually run different programs. And light therapy over here has individual pads in different shapes. This one's for the face, can actually be applied right over the eyes. Different colors to get a different range of depth in the body. So there's the red light, there's tri-lights, which have all the lights on them. Face mask blue light, which is really good for the skin, and then the computer that runs the show.
The controller for the in-light system, I mean, I have one here hooked up, but if you could just pick it up so that in case someone's not familiar. So that's the size of it. Okay, that's right.
Awesome. That's the controller, and then there's a 2-port controller also that you can get. But this is what I really move people towards because it's expandable. It's much more useful in that way. And are we done with show and tell? I'll move the lights. So
yeah, that's fine. That's good. That's good.
And again, it's been something that I never used in my office, electricity. Right. And then suddenly now I don't know what I would do. It's funny, a number of my Amish patients have bought the lights and the BEMER. People go, Amish? How does that work? But they have figured out a way. They pull up a car, but the Amish will do anything to keep them out of the doctor and the hospital.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's why it's worth it for them to spend a few $1,000s to be worth it.
Yeah,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
It's all about staying healthy. We're going to get, I ski, I bike, I sail, I do all these things, and I have a very physical job, 30, 40 patients in a day. And sometimes when I overdo, I'm sore, I ache, but the next day I recover. So it's really recovery that's important.
Yeah.
More than avoiding injury. We can't live our lives avoiding injury. Life is sometimes very surprising, and we have to go through that.
I think on every webinar I've ever given in my life, I always quote Hannah Kroger's famous saying, and I'd like you to respond to it. As you're speaking of it right now, is she always would tell us that, and she was a great healer, that the human body was the most brilliant computer that was ever designed, and that there would never be a computer smarter than the human body. And that if we gave it the proper information or the proper encouragement, the body would heal itself. So I think this is, you're making this case really.
Yeah, the power that made the body can heal the body. But
Right.
it needs food. But part of food is not just like broccoli and eggs and all that kind of stuff. Part of food is energy. We get energy from the sun, which affects us in a similar way that the lights do. It's photobiotic. And our Earth has this electromagnetic pulse similar to the BEMER. So we're using, but we have like Wi-Fi and telephone and radio and TV all coming through our bodies. We drive cars. We have a lot of stress. Every time we get the mail, we're like, oh, what's in there? So we need to take time every day to balance our body in a way that creates homeostasis in our body, that brings us back to a space, and then we do our day. So a lot of these units, you use it in the morning, you use it in the afternoon, or you just use it in the morning, or you just use it in the afternoon.
Right.
You find what works for you. But when I travel, I'm going to India with my BEMER and my light therapy unit, because you know what?
Okay. Right,
Yeah, I bring both. You're allowed 2 bags when you travel international, so you can bring a lot of stuff. And one of my clients just took the BEMER on the plane.
Right.
One of my clients, I have a BEMER with a battery, and she used it on the plane. I have clients that just drove to North Carolina. They plugged their BEMER into the socket, and they used their BEMER and their lights. Alternatively, they'd switch off as they were driving. They just...
That's amazing.
Just don't use the face mask.
Yeah, don't use the face mask.
While you're driving. Okay, that's great. That's really great. Well, I want to, we're sending out this recording, so I want to encourage people to like the video and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have any information, we can get, Steve, do you want to give any contact info for you?
Yeah, it's Dr. Steve Radio, DrSteveradio @gmail.com.
Wonderful. And then Ginger at energyevents.us. And Sally can be reached through Energy Events too. So if you have any questions or anything, let us know. We love the lights. We love the BEMER. We love anything that helps a person have a better life. And that's what Energy Events and Products is all about, is providing technologies and education for us all to have a better life. So thank you so much, Dr. Wechsler. We appreciate you, and we're glad you're our friend too.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. Good to see you.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.